I'm tired of giving my attention away. I'm tired of giving my attention to things that don't actually fill me and don't actually pour into me. Don't settle for the scraps of what people are willing to give you for the attention that will momentarily fill you. Attention feels good. Attention feels so good that we are willing to give up our peace of mind to occupy our mind with momentary connection. But you gotta remember that what you are really looking for is not in the attention you receive. What you are really looking for is in the connection that develops over time. It's in the intimacy of being seen. And so what actually needs to fill your void is commitment. What actually needs to fill your void is acceptance. I know the attention feels safe. I know the attention feels like it's filling you with what you need. But you gotta remember that the attention isn't gonna bring you peace. The attention isn't gonna fill that missing piece that you so desperately need to be free. And so stop taking scraps of what will momentarily fill you. Recently, someone reached out to me, and the person that reached out to me was kind of like a blast from a past, like someone that I kind of had a sort of relationship with in the past. And so he had reached out to me and just on some casual things, but through us talking and kind of just catching up, I realized within myself that I was like fiending for the attention. The feeling of me wanting the attention, yes, the attention is going to feel good, but it's not actually going to fill what I need. It's not actually going to fill what I truly want, what I truly desire, right? Because we don't desire having people flaunt over us, or we don't actually desire attention. Attention is something that just feels good, and that kind of spills over into the activities we do, right? Like making little activities and little arts and crafts activities like this actually teaches me something. I learn new skills, and through the process of creating, I'm learning more about myself. I'm reflecting on wherever it is that my mind goes, right? Whereas if I was just doing things that took my attention, like scrolling on my phone, watching shows that don't really add anything to me, right? These things are not actually pouring into me. They're not actually benefiting me in any way, but it has my attention, right? It fills out the desire to be distracted. So before we get into that, before we really get into the nitty gritty, I just want to take a moment to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of inspiring and creative classes. It's not only a place where you can get inspired, but where you can learn new skills and put them to use in impactful ways. Not to mention the supportive community of like-minded creatives and teachers. There's such a wide range of topics that you can find anything from photography to graphic design and even productivity. You can even focus on your career and learn how to start your own creative business with freelance and entrepreneurship classes. I first started using Skillshare years ago when I wanted to learn about graphic design and illustration, but currently I'm learning how to keep my spare time productive. I've been taking the class Productivity for Artists by Brooke Glacier. And throughout this class, I have been learning to make new habits by making the things you want to do automatic. This is something that can pour into your work life, but also your personal life. And so if you want to unlock your creativity and learn something new, the first 500 people to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Now, let's get back into the video. Because there is something within me that desires connection, right? And it isn't even embarrassing. Sometimes we think that it's embarrassing to admit these things, but every single person on this planet desires intimacy and desires connection. It's just in the way that we go about receiving it, right? We all have the same desires to connect and be close to others. We all have the desire to open up and be vulnerable, right? That is the beauty of relationship and connection. We all have those desires, but we have to understand that attention isn't actually going to fill those desires, right? And so it's being honest with yourself. Yes, I am no different from any other person on this planet. I have the desire to connect with others, but how am I going about filling this desire? Am I settling for the attention that people give me? Am I settling for compliments because people are attracted to me or people like my energy? Am I settling for their momentary attention, right? Because that is really what attention is. It's momentary. right? Real connection and real intimacy allows us to connect with people and develops over time. Real connection and intimacy develops over time, right? Real connection and intimacy is like building roots. Attention is like the tree, right? Attention is what is a result of true connection, right? And we can't just settle for a tree trunk and leaves. This is a super silly analogy, but we can't just settle for the fruits of attention. Because if we just settle for the fruits of attention, it's only a matter of time until a storm comes in. It's only a matter of time until the season changes that those fruits wither away, right? That those fruits become cold and dry, that those fruits die, right? The attention is like those fruits. No, we want to have roots. We want to have and build relationships and connections with people that have roots. Because if we have roots, the fruit that comes from that tree, right, is going to last in that season. And then maybe there's going to be another season where it dies and it withers away. But the roots are connected to the soil and the nutrients are in the soil. And so when the season comes up again, the next spring, it is going to produce fruit again. And so what are we settling for? I think environment has a huge part to play. You've got to put yourself in the right environment where people recognize your value, where people recognize your worth, because not everybody is going to see your value, right? Depending on which environment you're in, you could be valued and you could not be valued, right? That's why we have cliques. That's why we have friend groups, right? Unfortunately, we can't necessarily be friends with everybody. You know, I love to think that I get along with everybody, but at the end of the day, there are certain people that I just click with a little bit more. That's my circle. That's my close group of friends. Those people get me on another level. Those people value me on another level. But if you put me in a different environment where I'm around other people that maybe don't have the same values as me, maybe don't have the same vision as me, we're just different, right? They're not going to see the value in me. They're not going to see me as valuable because, well, we value different things. Right? And so the same thing goes for, and so when I talk about environment, it's maybe you're just in the wrong environment where you're not able to see your worth because the people around you don't value what you have. Sometimes life can get hard on us. Life can bring us down to the point where we don't even believe that we are valuable, to the point where we genuinely think that we don't deserve these things. And so we settle for less. But you've got to remember that you are deserving of love and you are deserving of true desire, right? You are deserving of true intimacy and true connection. You're worthy, you know? You've got to remind yourself of that. It's true. I know sometimes situations that we go through in life make us feel opposite of that. It makes us feel like we're not worthy of good things, that we're not actually worthy of loyalty and connection. But you are. There is good things about you. There's a lot of great things about you. And so it's switching your environment and going into spaces and places where you are valued, right? It's not seeking it where you're not valued. That person didn't value you. That person didn't see who you didn't see your worth. Okay, that's fine. It's fair. It's not to point the finger and say, oh, they're a bad person. They're this, they're that. No, they just didn't see the value in you. Doesn't mean that the value doesn't exist. It's still there. There was nothing that you had to uncover. There was nothing that you had to sift through. The value was always there. Whether they see it or not, the value is there. And so get into an environment where you can see your value. That's number one, where you can see your value, but also the people around you can see your value and people around you recognize you because, man, the people we surround ourselves affect us. You know, we like to think that we're so smart and that, you know, other people don't affect us, don't influence us. But yeah, the people that you surround yourself with have an influence on you. Do you ever think about talking to your friends, right? Like when you're talking to your friend tells you something that they're struggling with or tells you something that they're struggling with or opens up about something. Them doing that allows you and makes you feel comfortable to do so as well. And so it's inner vulnerability and showing our weaknesses right? And you have to be cautious with it. Don't just do it with everybody, bait out the scene to see who you can be vulnerable with. But it's in doing that you allow people to connect with you. And I just think that it's the same thing with our attention. Being vulnerable and open about where we fall short or our vices allows us to make changes and allows people that are genuinely meant to connect with us, allows people that genuinely value us to come into our life, right? It's being vulnerable and open and honest that allows for real connection. It isn't the attention that they give you. It isn't the attention that you desire. Attention feels good. It really does, but it isn't filling. It's kind of like a fast food meal. When you're super hungry and you're like, God damn it, I didn't eat anything. McDonald's is right there. And you just go get a little something. And then after you eat it, it's like, man, I shouldn't have ate that. I was really hungry, but I shouldn't have ate that because this is not filling. This doesn't have any nutritional value. Nothing. It doesn't actually pour into me, right? And so it's figuratively going back and saying, okay, I'm going to make a meal so that I never get to the point where I'm so starving that I'm accepting anything. I'm going to take a couple steps back and retrace where I have vices or what my desires truly are so that I never just settle for the attention that people are giving me. I never just settle for the compliments that people tell me and allow that to fill me and allow that to make me vulnerable, allow that to get my vulnerability. No, real connection, real intimacy gets my vulnerability, right? So that's just something that I have been thinking about. And I just want to remind you that your attention is valuable. Your attention is so valuable, and you have to stop giving it to people that will momentarily fill you. It's not worth it. You are worth so much more than what people can offer you in the moment. You are worth so much more than instant gratification. You are worth so much more than someone's entertainment. You have to understand that. You have to understand that so that you can actually move in your worth and move in your value and move in the way that you were created to. You're valuable, my friend. You're so valuable, and you need to start recognizing that so that you don't give your attention to any and everybody. I'm really hoping that we get that. And this goes for me too, right? This thought was sparked off of me fiending for attention, me having that desire for attention, right? But it was in that moment that I took a step back and I said, Abby, you are fiending right now. You are on the edge of your phone waiting for this person to respond to you. You are fiending right now. That's not what you actually desire. You don't actually desire momentary connection. You don't actually desire the spark of dopamine that comes from a text message or a phone call. That's not what you desire, right? And I had to sit with myself. Okay, so what do I desire? Well, I actually desire real connection and intimacy, loyalty, right? These are roots. These are roots that produce juicy fruits. Let me not just settle for the fruit. Let me not just settle for the gratification of attention. No, what I truly want is roots. What I truly want is connection, right? And so I had to take a couple steps back and say, all right, man, this is not what we're going to do. This is not what we're going to do. I'm glad that you realized it, So when you find yourself in situations where you're fiending, the anxiety is riling up, your body is your body's changing, you feel different, you feel a sense of angst, urgency. Take a step back. That's an indication sometimes. That's an indication to take a deeper look, right? What do I truly desire? Write down 3 things that you truly desire. Genuinely. Don't be afraid to be honest with yourself. This is your journal where it is between you and you. You don't have to say it to anyone else, but really open up that heart space and get into what you truly desire. I'm going to write my 3 things down. The 3 things that I truly desire are closeness, friendship, and affection. These are things that we don't always say out loud, that we think are kind of corny to say out loud, like, you desire affection and closeness. That's kind of corny. But in reality, it's not. Like we said before, as human beings, we all kind of have these desires. So write down the 3 things that you desire. What can I do to remind myself of my worth and remind myself that I deserve more than just attention? Write 3 things down that you can do and that you can implement as a daily practice or kind of as a ritual for yourself to remind yourself that you are worthy and that you are valuable. For me, it's coming back to my journal and reflecting on my heart's true desires. Like, what do I truly desire? For me, it's going to scripture and reading what God says about who I am and the love that he is, right? Reminding myself of who God is and the love that he is brings me back to center, reminds me that actually everything is fine and everything is good and everything is happening as it's supposed to happen in the time that it's supposed to happen. And so I don't have to rush things. I don't have to push things by controlling and manipulating. That's all that I have to be, a reflection of Jesus Christ. And so that reminds me and that brings me back to center. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this exercise and that it was helpful. If you feel up for it, you can share kind of what you wrote and reflected on in the comment section, or just share your thoughts below. Once again, thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching this video and connecting with me and participating with me. I really do love and appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'm so grateful for this community that we're building together. We are slowly growing, and I see all of your comments and all of you that are new to this family, and I just want you to know that I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate you. So peace and love, and I will see you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.